In his quest for immortality, the Jiajing Emperor turned to a disturbing Taoist ritual, consuming red lead made from the menstrual blood of young virgins. Girls as young as 13 were kept in isolation and fed only mulberry leaves and rainwater to preserve the purity of their blood. Those who resisted faced brutal punishment. But one night, 16 palace women pushed to the edge conspired to kill the emperor in his sleep. The Palace Women's Uprising, also known as the Palace Plot of the Renyan Year, was an attempted assassination, targeting the notoriously brutal Jiajing Emperor, who ruled China during the Ming Dynasty in the 16th century. Throughout Chinese history, the assassination or attempted assassination of emperors has not been entirely uncommon. However, the attempt on the life of the Jiajing Emperor stands out as one of the most unusual. Born Zhu Hochong in 1507, the future Jiajing Emperor was the eldest son of Zhu Yuyuan, the Prince of Qing. He was a cousin of the Zhengde Emperor, who died suddenly and without an heir. The absence of a direct successor created a dynastic crisis. As a close male relative, Zhu Hochong was selected by senior court officials to ascend the throne. In 1521, Zhu Hochong became the 12th emperor of the Ming Dynasty, adopting the reign title Jiajing, which means admirable tranquility, a stark contrast to his actual character. According to imperial tradition, an emperor without a son was expected to adopt a male relative to continue the ancestral rights. This meant Zhu Hochong was expected to be posthumously adopted as the son of the Hongji Emperor, father of the deceased Zhengde Emperor. However, Zhu Hochong rejected this custom. He insisted on maintaining his identity as the biological son of Zhu Yuyuan and demanded that his father be posthumously honored as emperor. This decision challenged long-standing Confucian values, especially the principles of filial piety and ritual propriety, which were central to imperial legitimacy and governance. The emperor's refusal sparked the Great Rites Controversy, a major political conflict within the court. Many officials who opposed his stance were harshly punished, demoted, exiled, or even executed. While Jiajing's initial treatment of dissenting officials may seem relatively measured when compared to the actions of some other Chinese emperors, it marked only the beginning of a reign increasingly characterized by cruelty and authoritarianism. Jiajing is remembered as a tyrannical ruler whose cruelty became more pronounced over time. In addition to his autocratic tendencies, the emperor developed a deep interest in Taoism, particularly alchemical practices, as he sought the legendary elixir of immortality. He devoted significant time and resources to esoteric rituals and secretive experiments. This unusual blend of despotic rule and fanatical spiritual pursuit, according to some historical accounts, laid the groundwork for the Renyan Plot, a desperate attempt by those within the palace to bring an end to his oppressive reign. The Renyan Plot took place in 1542 and involved a group of 16 palace women who conspired to assassinate the Jiajing Emperor. The name of the plot derives from the Renyan Year, the 39th year in the traditional Chinese sexagenary cycle, which was historically used in China and other East Asian cultures. According to some historical sources, the emperor's obsession with immortality led him to engage in disturbing alchemical practices, including the collection of menstrual blood from virgin girls, which he believed could be used to produce a substance known as red lead. This concoction was consumed as part of his quest for eternal life. Numerous young girls, many as young as 13 or 14, were reportedly kept within the palace specifically for the production of this alchemical substance. They were fed only mulberry leaves and rainwater, as the emperor believed this diet would preserve the purity of the concoction. These girls endured harsh conditions, beaten, starved, and discarded if they fell ill. In addition, the concubines were often subjected to violent abuse and forced into submission to satisfy the emperor's every desire. Given the cruelty and suffering inflicted upon the women of the palace, it is perhaps unsurprising that some ultimately conspired to end the life of such a sadistic ruler. The 16 palace women carried out their plan on a night when the emperor was staying in the chambers of his favoured concubine, Consort Duan, also known as Lady Cao. After the consort retired with her attendants, leaving the emperor alone, the conspirators seized the opportunity to strike. They restrained the emperor while one of the women attempted to strangle him using a ribbon from her hair. When this failed, they tried to complete the task with a silk curtain cord. However, they tied the wrong type of knot, which prevented them from tightening the noose sufficiently to end his life. One of the conspirators panicked and reported the assassination attempt to Empress Fang. As the emperor was unconscious till the next afternoon, the empress took matters into her own hand and had the palace women executed by slow slicing, known also as death by 1,000 cuts. The families of these women were also executed. Consort Duan was executed as well, though it later turned out that the concubine was not involved in the plot. The fact that the assassination attempt took place in her chambers gave the empress sufficient reason to eliminate a potential rival in the palace. Following the attempt on his life, the Jiajing emperor withdrew to the western section of the Forbidden City, choosing to live in seclusion and largely ceasing to hold court for the remaining 2 decades of his reign. Although his long rule brought a degree of stability to the Ming dynasty, his increasing decadence and neglect of state affairs ultimately contributed to the realm's decline. The Jiajing emperor died in 1567 at the age of 59. It is widely believed that his death was caused by mercury poisoning, a result of consuming toxic alchemical elixirs during his lifelong pursuit of immortality.